Almost there, folks. We'll just make sure this is all going. Sounds great, actually, if I do say so myself. All right, let's do this, folks. Welcome to this special San Diego edition of our Engage session. Some would say that San Diego is the world capital for internet and online businesses, as so many of the educators and coaches of internet marketing and a lot of the services are based out of here and a little bit further north in Encinitas and La Jolla and so on. And of course, it really does seem like the internet capital of the world, with over 5,000 people here at Traffic and Conversion. And it's been fascinating. And I also got to attend a mastermind on Sunday, this past Sunday, with Ryan Levesque. And that was fantastic. And it just reiterated to me just how important the concept of environment is. And how just getting out of that rut of environment that you sort of automatically find yourself in is so vital to having breakthroughs and giving yourself inspiration and just being able to do different types and styles of work. Environment is literally the most powerful thing that you can do. It really is extraordinary. And Janice said, download the blueprint for Ryan, you suggested, which is great. But what I'm really excited about, and that gives me an awesome opportunity, Janice, to plug the most recent session of the recipe called the Cookbook Session 12. It's available up in Slack for all Academy members, and it will soon be in the standalone recipe course, which is being finalized as we speak. And I'm very excited about that because what we did with that session 12, let me just tie some strings together. Knowing what you know now, you could take that blueprint, which is a really great outline of the whole process of Ryan's process of choosing a market, and you would now be able to break down all of that and figure out a recipe based on just the outline that Ryan has given you. And I just hope you realize how powerful that last lesson was and how powerful that ability to break down, utilize the certainty principle, and grab those things. So if you haven't had a chance to look at session 12 of the recipe, it is it was a Monty, if I do say so myself. And fortunately, I've had feedback. It's not just me blowing my own horn. I've had a lot of feedback from you lot saying how cool it was. So please make sure that you take advantage of that as part of your Academy membership. Even if you haven't been specifically following along the recipe, I think it stands alone pretty well as a stand-alone lesson on how to break down any outline. It's how I can look at an outline that I get in a free launch and be able to actually implement and execute that thing straight up. So that is a cool thing indeed. Okay, but enough about me. Let's get all in about you. So let me just get my no. I want my big one, thank you. Story of my life. Come on. Sorry, gang. I just need to figure out how to control my control my. Ah, look at that! It spins around. How cool is that? Okay, there we are. We're good. Okay, let's talk wins, and let's talk fattening up that a bit. All right, I'll give you a minute to type wins in the. What have been your wins for the week? Set a timer for 1 minute.
Okay, 1 minute and counting.
I'd love to hear from you. What in the chat window? What are your wins for the week? Very easy for me because the absolute key win for me has been the just reminding myself how important environment and getting out of your standard environment is. It's really, really powerful. We've got some coming through now. Got my lead magnet delivery set up. Ran Facebook lead gen ads. Back in the saddle, up to date with the recipe and foaming at the bit to go again. Fantastic. Crystal clear on my message. Clarity of mind and mental calmness after sorting stuff in my brain, arriving back to being balanced. And Alex, take care of my Facebook campaign, 2,000 likes. Woohoo, very good. Best week yet for Facebook lead ads. Nice. Filmed, edited, and uploaded 14 videos for my CF training, ClickFunnels training in the last 2 weeks. That's brilliant. Well done. Some great wins in there. That is marvelous. Let's have a look. Lost my mojo for about 4 weeks, but I kept plodding along and didn't give up completely. As of this morning, feel like I'm back. It was due to continuing to look at resources and suddenly stopping a pattern. Nice. Reset Kanban board. So Kanban, come on, Ed. So it makes more sense to me. Finally ready to write tickets to begin Facebook leads ad process. Feedback from fellow published author who is really enjoying the story I'm finalising, booked into Speculate Writing Festival in the publishing stream. Well done. Very, very, very good. Okay, that's awesome. Lots of great wins for the week. What about our lessons and learnings? So what about our lessons and our learnings this week? I'll give you a minute to type those in. I will have a sip of this and I'll tell you my learns. Foster's. So my learn is definitely that realizing how important masterminds are in environments and getting a group of like-minded people together in a room, just how powerful they are. And it's got me really revved up to do a whole series of live events in the second half of the year for people. We're looking at doing the recipe live, doing that in a big sort of long 6-day stretch. I'm having a mastermind and workshop in Tokyo at the start of April. And then later in the year, sort of July onwards, there'll be a whole series of workshops and masterminds in the US and in Europe. So looking forward to that. It'll probably be, in fact, it'll be specifically the UK, assuming you're all allowed in. That will be funny. So very much looking forward to all of that. It's just the the clarity you get. Like here, I'll show you. This is because, as you know, I wrote notes and I use Zettelkasten. But have a look at this. This is literally, I don't know. Look. This is from the workshop in Thailand and David's and the mastermind. Yeah, it's been crazy. Look at that. There's 30 pages, which is fantastic. So there you go. Let's have a look. I learned so much this past few months. Main one's trying to build a business while you're in financial health crisis and have a timeline to get it up and running. And earning cash because of that crisis is tough. It's virtually impossible. is, you have to just write your health and financial ship first. It's a huge lesson. It's not a lesson that people want to hear because they can hope they can skip the getting that stuff right and go right to getting the cash coming in and money solves all problems, but it doesn't. And that is a very good lesson. I can invite prospects from thank you page after downloading the Sage with a video to problem interview. Nice strategy. Love it. So what's happening there is Alex is doing, they're getting the Sage document. And so on the thank you page, this is a great idea, Alex. I love this. So on the thank you page, usually on the thank you page, we say something like, "Oh, thanks for downloading the document. You'll see the link to it in your thing shortly, or alternatively, it'll be just here's the document. Click on the link. Thanks very much for coming." So on the thank you page, where they've got the document, when they're at the height of their interest, in a video explaining why you're doing a customer interview. Nice. I love it. Or for those of you who are more of more from the high fact finder neck of the woods, you could do a bit of long form copy explaining that. And then having the opportunity to do that. And here's a little trick for you, Alex, in doing that. Just one of the things, text that people put into that to help people give them permission to watch the video is saying, don't call it your Sage doc, whatever your report name is. I'll call it Sage here, but you know what I'm talking about. Your Sage doc will arrive in 5 minutes. In the meantime, watch this short video to get some pointers or to get some like how to utilize the report the best or something along those lines. And you can give them a couple of good points and then invite them to a customer problem interview. Love it. So that's a beauty. Well done. Nice. Landed in your client. Oh, this is a win that's coming in. Collected great testimonials from recent projects completed. Well done. Just finished learning awesome tools in session 12. Thank you, Nancy. As I say, if I do say so myself, I was pretty chuffed with how that all came out. Doing something, even if minor, is better than doing nothing. Eventually, you'll get back on track. That's so true. The concept of cadence is the most important part of running a business. It absolutely makes sense. Important to have processes and automations in place. Pretty much understood again. I'm really strong at the who and not the what when it comes to things to be done. Yes, very good. Yay, finally coming home was like forever ago. Ah, yes. Oh, that was in regards to the conferences and workshops. Very good. Yeah, I don't think the type of stuff that I want to do is the smaller room stuff, 10, 20 people in a room over a couple of days, because that way you can really get in. And I used to do these years ago, and they were always awesome. But just, with the age of the girls and everything, and now the girls have grown up a little bit, it's going to be an awesome opportunity to do that. People are happy to give useful feedback if I just ask them. Yes, true. How difficult it is to constantly put out content. It is so difficult. Yes, it is a real commitment. Never underestimate. Applying the cookbook sesh to Stephen King's On Writing and John Burning's How to Be a Writer to finally sort out exactly what my roadmap is. There's some perfect. That's a great idea. I love that, Carla. That's very exciting, because there are two books where they're really, really great, but of course they're written by writers, not by educators. So all the cool stuff is sort of hidden in the pages. So if you break it out, do your post-it notes, do your left to right timeline, and then do your steps north-south, vertically. Fantastic to do. 2 hours of focus out of the home office is 5 to 10x. Time with partners, like-minded, similar focused people is a force multiplier. Yes, totally is. I suppose if you did it all the time, it wouldn't be. But yeah, for those, for getting out of your environment for a couple of days, a week, or something to get, and you can do this in your niche too. Trade shows and events, and like association events or user groups or anything like that. Just getting out and speaking with people and interacting. And it's, as much as a lot of people attracted to this business are very much introverted, it was great to catch up with Rich Sheffrin and Todd Brown yesterday, for example. And I don't think Todd minds me sharing this. They say that there's an event on a boat tonight, and he was horrified at the concept of that because it means he couldn't slip out quietly, because he really is, you wouldn't think it, because of his, his on-stage performance is fantastic, but he's really an introvert at heart. So that is all interesting. So yeah, I completely get that. Facebook harder to please than they were 18 months ago. Same ad got poor feedback that did well in 2017. Pardon me. Yep, it's a constantly moving feast, and it's funny. Speaking of, I had a catch up with Leslie Rohde, who's the grandfather of understanding AdWords and buying traffic and all that sort of stuff, and Paul Colligan, who's the podcast guru of choice, and just I was explaining that I think the number one challenge is, you think about it, back in the, I'll run this by you, tell me what you think. Right, think about it. If you were a small business owner in 1980, okay, if you needed to, say you had a dress shop. So if you had a dress shop and you wanted people to come in and buy dresses, what marketing channels did you have available to you? In some ways, it was the most, like, typically, you probably Yellow Pages would be one. And that would be it. But how much time would you spend working on your Yellow Pages ad, right? Probably the half an hour that the rep came round to do that, because Yellow Pages designed the ad for you, and you just paid them a bucket load of money and you're in Yellow Pages, and that was it. It was about 30 minutes of your time, and you required no expertise. They did everything for you. Let's say you were a bit bigger, and okay, so you were doing radio. Well, again, a radio ad rep would come around. They'd do all of the, the design, the testimonial, they'd design the ad, do the creative, book the time. Basically, you would have to have a half an hour meeting and pay over a check. Let's say you were really big time and you were doing TV. Well, again, you probably were working with some sort of agency or the local channels advertising group, and they would shoot the commercial for you, and maybe with an agency and so on. But here's the thing: you would turn up, say what you had to say about your dresses, and it would take you about half a day. Maybe you're super switched on and you were doing direct marketing, and that'd be the only time that you would spend any time and effort understanding marketing. Fast forward to today. Let's look at that same dress shop. If you want to get customers for your dress shop, well, guess what? Okay, how are you going to get customers to your dress shop? Oh, Facebook. Okay, well, in theory, Facebook makes it easy for you to get customers, as does Google. But as I said, it's very easy to get infinite customers, is spend an infinite amount of money. But of course, you'll go bankrupt. It's actually way harder for people to do there, because you need to understand, for goodness sake, there are 5,000 people down the road here, and there's something like 119 speakers, right, on all sorts of elements of marketing, just marketing your business. And if you're Susie the dressmaker or Sam the dressmaker, and you just want to do your small business and do that, right? There's this real challenge and real problem here because, okay, the where I want you to get to, I want you to get to the point where you're making money. So you're working with an agency of some kind, or you're working with you employ somebody, or you work with somebody. But let's face it, that's bare minimum $500 a month plus the ad spend to get to that point. So what do you do in the meantime getting to that point? It's really tricky, right? So very interesting. Cadence applies across all areas of life. It helps slow things down and tremendously decreases anxiety, which has led me to shut down in the past. Very good. Sleep is a huge part of my environment. Totally true. If you're not getting enough sleep, it's going to get you. There's no question. Lots of great feedback for Alex. That is magnificent. Well done. Two birds, one stone. Yes. Don't rely on WordPress quiz plugin for all your traffic lead generation. It can stop working. These things happen. That's true. Local newspaper and yellow pages. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And the local newspaper, I should know, I sold ads, not in the 80s, but in the early 90s. And yeah, right, was 100%. That, you know, I would take the person's order. We had a graphic designer who would do up copy for the ad. They'd approve it, maybe change it a bit, and that was it, right? There's so much more emphasis on what you have to do now, which does make a big, big difference. All right, let's do this thing. So if I can help you, let's do some needs and let's get into some needs help. Make sure you use an N and a colon so I can swing back and make sure I get everybody and do all of that stuff. So I think we've already got Sally is up here next. Let's get Sally up and going.
Hi, Ed.
Hey, Sally.
How you doing?
Good.
How's San Diego? Is it sunny?
It's sunny. It's very cool for San Diego, but beautiful. So cannot complain. It's very nice indeed. So next steps with lead gen and cookie delivery. So
Yeah.
Okay, just before you get on, how many CFTs have you got this week?
Oh, I'm averaging around 13 or 14.
13 or 14. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not working, am I? I'm unemployed, so it's great.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay.
No money, but I'm enjoying that bit.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we need to get to the money part as quickly as humanly possible.
Yeah.
So, where are you at?
So I ran. I had 3 ads running. They're ones that I'd done, as I say, back in about 18 months ago. That I'd done well before in the sales environment.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had one in colour, one in black and white, both to men, and then a third one to women. The women one did really badly and got a really low relevancy score and obviously some bad feedback.
So, okay, so when you say it did badly,
yeah,
what was its click-through rate?
So let me just get that one up. Female.
Oh, well, can you tell me, was it less than 1%?
Yeah, I'm just double checking. Yeah. Where's CTR? I can't even see the CTR. Yeah, it had about, it was coming out at £8 a lead.
That's not what I asked.
Yeah, I can't find the click-through rate for some reason. Where's the click-through rate gone? I've got it under performance and it's not showing the click-through rate. Where would I show click-through rate?
Okay, so you need to find out your click-through rate.
I had it before. I don't know why it's gone. Yeah, I've stopped that anyway. I don't know why my click-through rate's not showing. I'll have to try and work this. Facebook keeps changing things and then I forget where it is.
All right. So what was the goal of running these ads?
So it was ideally to get somebody into to have a conversation with me for them to end up with a coaching, one-to-one coaching.
Using what methodology?
So I'm using Winterhaven.
Okay. Okay. Did you get any emails from these campaigns?
Yeah, so I did, and I was my first 10. I didn't get any response, and then I got about 3 in the last sort of. I had initial 5 people, and I got 3 responses. So I have got 1 in 10.
So you had 15.
Yeah.
15 clicks, if you will.
Yeah.
And you got
3.
You sent 15 emails.
Yeah.
And you got 3 responses.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, cool. Okay, what happened with the 3 responses?
And interestingly, actually, this one I only targeted to the UK and Ireland. So I think that might be why I'm paying more per click, actually, but I don't know. But that might be the case.
So again, what happened with the 3 responses?
I have sent emails back to them, but haven't had another response off them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So why aren't you just continuing to do this process?
I am still running.
Right. So what was the question then?
So the next thing was about carrying on with them in terms of the cookie delivery. So my next phase, which I started up last year, which was podcasting, but I found that incredibly hard to keep doing a podcast episode.
Mm-hmm.
So I really need to start some sort of cookie delivery system. So it's the next steps with that.
Yeah, you need to send, so once a week email with something really, really useful.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the problem with that?
No, none really. I'm thinking probably a newsletter, but one of my questions was I did have about 50 people on my list, but they've not been contacted for over a year. So what would be the best way to re-engage them?
Wow, they'll be so upset with you. Wow, they'll be going, where has Sally been? You know, are you sure that they're still with us? They may have not been able to continue on in this world because of the lack of your email. They must have been imagine the weeks where they were sitting there by their computer wondering when's Sally going to email me?
I don't think that.
Oh, Sally, when is she going to contact us? Of course, none of that occurs, right? They don't give a toss, right? No. They haven't noticed. They don't care. Nothing matters. So send them an email. So just add them to the newsletter.
Just stick them on and see if they
and if they unsubscribe, they unsubscribe. Who cares?
Okay, no worries.
Right. There are techniques when you are further along the path to reactivate people, but for right now, no. And you just keep the email. Very simple. Right? 1 or 2 really cool and interesting things that will help your market.
Okay.
Like, what's their big pain point?
The Sage document was on call reluctance, sales call reluctance.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So, giving them some stuff on that would be, having some conversations like that little technique that we talked about with Alex just before that Alex came up with, which I thought was fantastic. Why not try either a video if the video is not comfortable for you? Do a little bit of writing. Hey, I'm doing a research project on call reluctance, and I'd really love to speak with you. It'll take about 15 minutes, and I've just got a set of questions that I'd really love to ask you to help me in my research on helping people with call reluctance.
Yeah, I've written a CFT to do that.
So that would definitely be something I would add into that.
Yeah.
Right. So you need to obviously continue with the ads, and you need to have an ad continuously running, and you need to monitor the ads. And of course, what are our metrics that we're looking for? We're looking for click-through rate,
Yeah.
because the click-through rate tells us one thing, which is, are the ads working or not? If it's less than 1%, then the ads aren't working, right? The ads are not working, right?
It was
Cost per
great. I know
lead,
it was greater than
cost per
1%.
lead at this point is not relevant,
Okay.
but whether the ad is working. And then, of
Okay.
course, the other thing is how many emails are we getting?
Yeah.
And then, of course, the thing to drive down cost of those leads is to try get your relevancy up.
Yeah. 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 My relevancy is about 7 or 8 for the mail one. And that cost is obviously lower. And the click-through rate, I did see it before and it was greater than 1%. So I just can't find it now for some reason. So I know it has definitely been greater than 1%.
Yeah. So continue with that and try beat it.
Yeah.
Right. And geez, I wonder where there's a spot where you could put your ad up and your copy and your target and marketing information, so that you could get feedback from people who can see obvious mismatches in relevancy that you can't see because you're too close to it. Where would that be? I don't know.
I have put it in the Slack group.
Good.
But nobody commented on it.
Well, I've got to say, I didn't see it.
No, I didn't add you. So I should have added you.
No. You should not have added me. No, I hate when people do that, honestly, because I go in there and I look at everything. So if I didn't see it, I'd just double check to see if.
It's definitely Okay, I'll post it again.
Mm-hmm. That would be good. So what else do you need to know? I think that's your job.
No, the research, the roadmap for that, is that lean or something? What's the roadmap for doing the interviews?
Oh, well, I'm a big fan of the running lean.
Running lean. Okay.
So that's a book which you can buy.
Yeah.
Running lean, and it's, what is it, page 87. I've recommended it that much. I know the exact page. And that's what you got.
Okay, fab. Perfect.
And for those of you watching that, Alex has found the post in #Facebook ads, which is exactly where it should be. So thank you, Sally. And everybody is going to go and have a look at that now. Everybody who's watching this, you need to go and have a look. That's your homework. Everybody's homework is to go and have a look at Sally's Facebook ad. And hopefully she's told you who she's targeting, the audience that she's after. And she has told us the whole information that we need, and we'll get cracking in there and help her out.
Okay, I love those if I haven't. Fab. Thanks, Ed.
Good on you. Well done, Sally. Good stuff.
Bye. Cheers.
Now, let's find you here so we can, there we are. Talking is no longer permitted for Sally. There we are. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, Lou has a great question. Let's bring him in. Or Lewis. We're talking officially. Oh, there's 2 Lewis Rileys here. Let's see if this is the right one.
That's it.
Hey, we got it. Hello, Lewis. How are you today? Lewis.
How are you, sir? Lou is just fine. I can operate off of Lou.
Lewis.
Yeah.
Are you like me when the only time somebody calls me Edward was my dearly departed mother, and it was when I was in trouble. So if I got Edward, I knew I was in vague trouble. If I got Edward Dale, I knew I was in like pretty serious trouble. But if I ever got the Edward Wells Dale, it was time to run because there was a shoe coming.
Yes, sir. Quite the same. My entire name, first, middle, last. Sometimes.
Yeah. If you cop that, you were in deep.
It's on. It's on.
It is on. So, Luke, thank you for asking this question. Have you identified another autoresponder to suggest as of yet? This gives me a great opportunity to address this for the entire academy. So thank you so much.
Sure.
Now, for the last year or so, probably longer, 2 years, I've been recommending Send 13 and we had a special deal, and it was really great, and it was everything. Now, Send 13 is no longer working with ClickFunnels at all. And really, I think they're basically getting out of that business. I don't want to put words in their mouth, so I don't know 100% what's going on. Anyway, point being that as far as a delivery system, right, because here's the thing, my autoresponder, and this is a bit complex, right, because if you use something like MailChimp, for example, which is a great place to start out because you can literally start for free, right, it does two things, right? It collects the emails, like it has the database of the database of your emails, and then it also acts as the delivery service. Right? So they're the two functions that something like MailChimp does. Now, I still love, use, and recommend ClickFunnels. Love that. One of the reasons I love that is because ClickFunnels is it's way more than my database of emails. It's my shopping cart. It's my opt-in forms, right? It's everything to do with lead generation and money making is what I do with ClickFunnels, right? But there's one thing ClickFunnels doesn't do itself per se, right? And it's a strength of it, right? Is that it doesn't do the delivery. You need to attach a delivery service to ClickFunnels because it doesn't actually deliver the mails. It creates the emails to send, it prepares everything, it does all the cool stuff that it does in terms of filtering and automation and deciding who should get this email or not. But at the end of it, it doesn't run the delivery service. It doesn't, it doesn't have the UPS or postal office, right? So we need to find who is that postal office. Now, I personally have been using SendGrid as my new delivery service. Okay, so I have been using SendGrid, and interestingly, ClickFunnels has done a great deal with SendGrid, which is something that if you're using ClickFunnels, something that you probably want to explore, right? So there's that. So what I'm doing, if I spin this around here a little bit. Yeah, so this is me right now, ClickFunnels delivery. Now, one of the reasons I love SendGrid so much is when you get to scale, when you get a lot bigger, right, then SendGrid is really good at handling a lot of mail. Okay, it's good at sending that, and its delivery and so on is great because, as people know, like it's funny, in the Slack group this week, a couple of people are saying, oh, I haven't been getting your emails. I send them. Like I send the Academy emails, but whether you get them or not is a crapshoot these days, right? It really is. Deliverability is such a thing. If you don't open 2 or 3 Academy emails in a row, then a lot of the services like Gmail and Apple Mail will think, oh, you're not interested in those. They must be spam. And they'll put them in the junk folder, or they won't even deliver them at all. They won't go anywhere, right? They'll disappear. So we want to try avoid that as much as possible. So, Lou, if you're just starting out, now, one of the things that you can do is you can use, use something like a MailChimp. Now, and this is a spoiler alert, next month, we will be having, because if those of you might recall, I was in Thailand a couple of weeks ago. And in Thailand, I saw an amazing new process and couple of services, and they're like super duper cheap, that will make the Winter Haven methodology so much better. It's insane, right? I cannot wait to give this to you. You can operate it all through Gmail, so you don't have to. So when you're first starting out, if you want to test some stuff, you can get a unique domain name, so it looks all cool and professional. But you can run everything through Gmail. It's amazing, and I can't wait. I'm not going to explain it to you now, Lou, because it's there's quite a few little steps to set it up. But David Kavanagh, who invented the process, is joining us in the academy next week as our guest instructor, and he will be taking us through this process. So I'm very excited about that. So, in summary, when you're up and running, my particular system of choice, the system I use is ClickFunnels with delivery by SendGrid. Now, look, you could use Drip, or you could use Infusionsoft, right? There are big names in all of these sorts of things. I like ClickFunnels, right? And because I think it caters more to our type of market, the entrepreneur style market. They really, Russell gets what we do intimately, so he's always got sort of the types of people that we are in mind. One step below that, when you start to build your list, so for example with Sally, something like a MailChimp to send out your weekly cookie newsletter to start off with is a great thing, right? Fantastic, right? I love MailChimp. It's got excellent functionality, and they try to make it as easy as possible for people, which I'm a big fan of. Lots of tutorials and all those sorts of things. So MailChimp as an initial, if you're doing your cookie delivery and so on, I like MailChimp because it can be free up until your first X hundred number of, and when you get to that point, it's a nice crossover. What I'm going to introduce to you guys next month is at the very start of the process, when you haven't decided your market, you're still in market choosing mode, you're still in will my market talk to me mode. There is an all new process which will utilize Gmail in the coolest way you've ever seen, and be able to do that. So does that answer the question, Lou?
Yes, it does. You said it'll be next week when that gentleman's going to join.
It'll be there. I haven't locked in an exact date with David because he's in Tokyo at the moment. But when David gets back, he has committed to being our guest lecturer this month to talk about the mechanics of the Winter Haven. When I saw this, and I saw this in Thailand, interestingly, so I was just blown away by it. So I'm really, really excited about it.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Yeah, and what I'm not excited about, Lou, though? Although, thank goodness I did this. I've got to redo all those pages on my website about how to get started. Fortunately, I was smart in the book, and this is a little lesson, right? In the book, I said, hey, to get the latest way to do the mechanics of this email list, or check out my /email page. So thank goodness I don't have to redo the whole book. I have to redo the pages that are related to that. So whenever you're dealing with technology or something like that, I think if there's a chance that the technology changes, do that additional information on the website. So that's all you have to do. But having said that, that's a job for me this month to update it with all of this.
Right.
There you go. Thanks for the question, Lou, because that's actually, I've been wanting to address that for some time. So that's awesome. Thank you very much for that.
All right. Good deal. Thanks.
Good on you, Lewis. Well done. I'm called Edward. I just can't handle it. Okay. Let's have a look. Alex says, Sally, 9-word email. Yes, you could use a 9-word email, but I think at this point, it's don't need. So look in reports for CTR. Found the post. Facebook group reactivation possible. How do you spell David's last name? Kavanagh. And you're going to ask me this. I don't know how to spell Kavanagh. It's Irishy. He's Australian, but he lives in Thailand. Yeah, Google David Kavanagh. Have a good crack at spelling it. See, there's already 2 alternative spellings in the attendees. But don't worry, we'll get David to spell it personally when he comes in as guest lecturer for us in the academy next month. Okay, Sam has an excellent question because, funnily enough, we answered this very question at the mastermind this week. And this is going to be very interesting to a lot of people. Oh, there you go. Chris Brown has just put up a URL, davidkavanagh.com. So that is fantastic. Now, where's Sam? Sam, allowed to talk. Okay, you there, Sam? Come in. Have you remembered how to unmute yourself?
Just about, I think. Can you hear me?
Great to hear from you.
And you, sir, and you.
All right, Sammy baby, your question was, and I can't tell you how timely, you and Lou, it's obviously timely questions month, is Facebook group reactivation. Is it possible if I have my Facebook? Well, there's two situations. So situation one is, can I reactivate my Facebook group? I've abandoned it for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Should I reactivate it, or should I just bin it and start a new one? Right. So that's question one.
Yep.
The second one is, can I put it on ice?
Yes.
Put it on ice. Really important questions. Now, somebody who is an expert at all of this, Rachel Weiss, was at the mastermind on Sunday. And Ryan actually asked this very question because they had a Facebook group, haven't done a lot with it. It's sort of withered on the vine. And he was asking Rachel whether he should reactivate it or should he just start from scratch. And probably the pervading viewpoint was that people should start from scratch. But Rachel, who was an expert in this, says, oh, no, au contraire. Not only should you you should reactivate your group. You can reactivate your group. There is a benefit to reactivating your group. But here's the killer thing. She said it's actually important to shut the group down every now and then. Now, not shut it. Now, listen very carefully. Not shut it down, right? Not delete it, not archive it, not do any of those things, but literally super restrict people being able to post. Why would you do that? Well, once you're up and running with products and promotions, and say you're teaching a course, right? When you are in course teaching mode, and those of you who are part of my group might notice that it's gone completely dead. Why? Because I'm teaching the recipe right now. Right? And why would I, you never, and this is what Rachel has proven, and she showed us all the data. Do not run your Facebook group while you're in the middle of a paid training. Right? Because people will think, oh, I can get the stuff from the free Facebook group. Right. And then they'll actually get learned into, oh, well, the group's giving me all the satisfaction I need. Yet when there's paid training on, you shouldn't be running your group. Right. You should be putting it in quiet mode. Okay. So that was a fascinating piece of information. Right. Really, really cool. So that was interesting. So the answer, though, is then, can I reactivate that group? The answer is a big fat yes. And in fact, Rachel, what she does, and here's how you do it. Okay, so the way you reactivate is you go back through and you look at your most controversial posts, the posts that attracted the most arguments and the most likes. Okay?
Uh-huh.
And guess what you do?
Repost them.
Repost. Like recreate the post. So it's a new post.
Yeah.
But it's exactly the same. Because like I was being very sarcastic with Sally before, right? Nobody's been sitting around wondering where your Facebook group is. Where's Sam?
Well, surely in my case they have, Ed. Surely in my case.
Maybe in your case they are. But yeah, in my case, funnily enough, no. So you find a couple of those posts and boom, shakalaka, fire up the group again.
Perfect.
Right. So repost, here, let's write this down. Repost most controversial. And listen to what I'm saying. Most controversial.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That is key. Keep remembering I can just move this over. Right. Most controversial posts are absolutely crucial. All right. So that is the key to that. Now let's write, for completeness sake, let's write that address for David was David Cav. And a spoiler alert, David and I are going to be running a boot camp in Thailand in July. And it's going to be literally you bring your laptops and we build the whole, we build your whole thing from scratch. We go from the Winter Haven, you run the Winter Haven ads, like we do it all live so we can see you in the room doing it, and you're doing it with your peers, and we've got tech support there, and we do the whole thing. I can't wait to tell you about it, but that's going to be in July. So if you want a holiday in July, that's also tax-free or a tax deduction. So please see your local and professional accountants and legal advisors, Sam. You don't want to, you don't want to take my word.
Not at the moment, especially not at the moment.
You don't want to take my word for it as a tax deduction for shiz. But apparently, it could be like a whole tax deduction thing. So, and a great holiday. Let me tell you. So does that help, Sam?
That's awesome. Cheers, sir. Thank you very much. Fantastic.
Very good. Thank you very much, mate. Elizabeth said, what have we got? Did a person interview with director of a horse movie who rarely gives interviews, looking to turn into multiple stories? Need something else I've got considered. Also get referable. Okay. All right. I'm not sure this is written in some sort of hieroglyphics, but let's get Elizabeth on, and I'm sure she can tell us. Okay, Elizabeth, you there? Hello, Elizabeth. Get that microphone working. Hello, Elizabeth. Oh, I stopped too soon. She has no mic. Oh, then I'm really going to need you to give me some more. You really need to go to trans. You're really going to have to translate those questions for me. Something else I'm not considered. Did an interview with a person for a big horse movie who rarely gives interviews. That's great. Looking to turn into multiple stories and income. I can't. I need more info. The info I need is, okay, well, what income? What's the where is this dropping in? What project is this dropping in? The things that I would like to see, when I'm looking at something is, content generation. And it's funny. It's interesting. We were talking about this a lot in the mastermind on Sunday. Right. So we need to have a look at what our content generation strategy, but why are we doing content generation? There's only one reason, right? There's one reason: traffic. Right. Yes. Content generation builds influence. Right. So people will like to, follow your stuff. Okay, so any piece of content, is a way of capturing audience and so on. So follow, like, etc. But at the end of the day, the only reason we're doing any of that stuff is so we get traffic, and we need to build a list of some description. Now, when I say build a list, in the old days, it used to exclusively mean emails. These days, it's very, very important that you include messaging in that as well. In fact, I literally witnessed in operation an amazing WhatsApp process where a person was literally just generating business straight off WhatsApp using WhatsApp groups. It was fascinating because all the Yanks are going, well, what's WhatsApp? They have no clue. But of course, in the rest of the world, it's a big deal, right? So we're building a list. So anytime we're creating content, we're putting it into our various, channels that we have, which are operational. We have those various channels, being that content in whatever way that is most appropriate, right? That's what we're trying to do. And hopefully it's going to building a list of people who really love our stuff. And why are we building a list? Because we want to make offers of our products and services. So whenever I'm looking at a piece of content, I'm going, well, okay, where does this float in? Now, sometimes a piece of content can become an actual course in and of itself, right? Well, then that's great. It can become a course. But if, you need to have more, at the end of the day, what we all need to achieve is we need to have a customer factory in place, right? A repeatable, consistent, cadence producing customer factory that takes, interested people from one end, they go through our factory and they come out a happy customer. And that is absolutely crucial. So that is the area that you need. So if this exclusive interview, for example, so say you've got an exclusive interview, then, and this person's, it doesn't matter what market they're in, if what they're providing in that interview is training or wisdom or anything like that, well, then potentially you could make it a product, but you would need to figure out, okay, so when I'm looking at these sorts of things, it's, well, what is it? What does it do? What value? The most important question is, how does this product, actually, let's remember, you've got, right? How does it, to make a happy customer, the product must take people on a journey. And we talked about this in the recipe session 12. Must take this happy customer on a journey from wherever they are, current situation, right over to a, yes, you guessed it, better situation. Now, in learning, my current situation is I do not know how to use a pottery wheel to create a vase or vase or however you want to pronounce it, depending on what part of the world you're in. I don't know how to do that. So my current situation is ignorant. Now, if I bought a video course on how to use a pottery wheel to make vases or vases, then what's my end goal? My better situation is going to be, wow, I know now how to make a vase and give it as a gift and make people happy with that process, right? So it's all about how do you change a person's situation? You can, how do I change a person's state? Why is music so effective? Because music changes a person's state. All right. Anything that you can do, like if you can change a person's state and do it quickly, you're going to make a lot of money. Hence why drugs and music are very, very popular, and video games and TV, right? You could be laughing at a comedian in a minute and you can go from being grumpy to doing all of that stuff. All right. So now she's got a lot of stuff. Anyway, hopefully that helps. But hey, Elizabeth, my suggestion to you is why not jump into the Slack group, take your time, write out the whole thing so we can get the entire squad helping you. Would love to do that. Right. So let's do that. And that would be a good thing. All right. I think we've got everybody. Thank you very good. Thank you, Elizabeth. Okay, well, thank you, everybody. That was a great session. It was really good. And thank you, Sam, and also thank you, Lou and Sally. Great questions and some stuff that I wanted to address, and really looking forward to meeting you all and seeing you all at the various things that we'll be doing later on in the year. So good luck, and we will speak soon.